Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing another banger from NAC, and we're going to have we're obviously reviewing the three best games. So we're going to have now a game between Doubt and the Viper. This game has insane stakes on the line. So we're going to break down what's actually on the line here, and then we're going to break down the game for you guys to enjoy. Viper and Doubt, two absolute legends of the game, and they're facing off here in the round of 6, which is basically the round right before the semifinals. And they're currently, you won't believe it, 3-3 in a best of 7. This is the decider. If Doubt wins, he's in the semifinals in 2024. That would be such an insane result for Doubt. And if Viper wins, he is in the finals, in the semifinals himself. And obviously, if he doesn't, that would be considered a pretty bad result, not getting to the semis. Viper has a dedicated fan base, and his fan base holds him to very high regard. So both these guys are playing for massive stakes on the line. It's currently 3-3. This is the decider game. And now we have Viper in red as the Hindustani, and we have Doubt in blue as the Khmer. And this Civ matchup, it is worth mentioning right off the bat here that this Civ matchup seems to heavily favor Hindustani if you think about it. Camel Civs generally do pretty well against Khmer, which are more of like a Knight Scorpion Civ early game. You know, obviously later it's like a Ballista Elephants Civ, but in the early game, Khmer is like a Cav Civ, and I think Hindustani does really well against Cav Civs. Map is, of course, African reed beds. We'll take a look at the map real quick. Both players have a small private pond with 3 deep sea fish, 3 dolphins, and then after that, you could fish trap if you want to, and of course, Viper. We've all seen the Rage Forest games on YouTube. The 3-dock fish trap boom on Black Forest. He wants the fish trap if you give him the chance. And he's actually already walling off his dock to secure the fish trap setup one day. But of course, both players know that fish trap is a possibility. And the way to counter fish trapping is to attack your opponent, don't give them the chance to fish trap and to go for those like big 3-dock fish booms. And so Doubt, knowing the matchup favors Viper with Hindustani, knowing that, you know what, he could fish trap and he can get so far ahead if I don't pressure, he is guaranteed to go for some crazy, crazy aggression. And that is exactly what Doubt goes for here. To start things off, though, Doubt's just going to go for a little bit of a boom, and he wants to get in, or not boom, but going for a little bit of a standard start, getting in the deer pushes, going for the economy, which is what he values the most in the early game before the aggression starts. And once the aggression starts, it's not going to stop. This is, in my opinion, one of the craziest games of the event. I think the only great game that I won't review is the Tato versus Mr. Yo game on Copenhagen. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know. It's too long of a game to review, but it was an insane game. But the other 3 games that I consider the top games of the tournament, I will be reviewing them, and this is actually number 2. After this, I've got one more. And they will be hitting YouTube within the week, and I hope you guys will enjoy their little bit of a nice change of pace there, reviewing some tournament games for a change. Doubts going up to Feudal Age. Viper the same, but 1 pop earlier, so going up for a little bit of a faster, early game aggression maybe. Viper, of course, knows he's got the better Civ matchup. Both players extremely smart, and they know exactly what is at stake right now between Hindustani and Khmer. They know Khmer has potentially better economy early game with the farms. They know that they skip the barracks. So, the Khmer will be bringing the heat. But they both know that Hindustani win the late game. And so Viper is probably going to try to stabilize early, make sure nothing, crazy happens, and Doubt wants chaos. Viper goes for a barracks on the front. This is what he currently sees. He, thoroughly scouted out his map. He knows exactly where he can wall to secure his base. And he's already starting to wall up a little bit. He can envision some big walls one day. He's going to go for a stable to start things off. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a couple spearmen come out as well. Try to pressure the Khmer a little bit. Both players will try to harass the enemy lake here, as you can see with that scout. Viper, though, he will wall up his lake because he's got 3 woodlands. So Viper actually had a really nice map for what he wants to do in this game, which is wall up the lake, go for some fish, and just try to survive. A couple spearmen going forward, as we mentioned. Those are really good at countering Khmer, because how does Khmer deal with spearmen? There's no barracks. Khmer players always skip the barracks. High level at least. You could make it if you want to. You're still allowed to make a barracks, but usually you skip it because you want to save the wood and spend it on something else. Instead of walling the lake, Doubt decides to go for a fire galley. I think walling the lake is better, but you know, maybe just the fire galley is a quick fix. Doubt is a quick fix kind of guy anyway, so goes for the fire galley there. And actually manages to catch out this build, but of course, Viper's got some quick walls. I told you guys he's addicted, but in this case, it was a great play. Saves the Vil and sends it back to work and has a very safe lake. So Viper's in such a good spot. Again, notice his emphasis on playing safe. He isn't going for like some super fast aggression. His scouts are staying at home. He sent one spear forward, forced the fire galley. The rest of his scouts are at home. And Doubt, crucial mistake there, losing a scout to the town center. That's not a good sign. And Viper's also chasing away this scout, getting some nice hits on it. So Viper is like basically winning in every department here. Better civ late game, secure fish, and he's winning the trades in the early game. This is looking horrible for Doubt. Doubt is a fighter, and he's not going to go out easily like that. He goes for a range, and he wants to continue adding in chaos because he knows he needs to make something happen here. Now we see a little bit of a house being rushed down here for Doubt. Probably wants to get them down to defend his woodline. Obviously, Khmer can hop in houses, so making houses near your resources. It's actually a really smart play. Doubt continues his scout production, and this is where Viper gets a little greedy, gets a little comfortable. Sometimes, you know, everything's going well, so you just move on to the next stage of life. He wants to go Castlage, sends a few Vils to gold, starts walling up, and he's going to try to aim for Castlage before he really has, you know, a whole lot on the field. Switching to archers now, and he's going to try to get some harass with the few scouts he has. Compare that to what Doubt's doing. Continuing to make scouts, making a lot of archers, and going for a smith. So he wants to go for an archer scout with fletching. Big play like that. And Doubt gets his first solid fight. Although, actually, it looks like Viper ends up winning it. Well, I think it's going to be a decent trade. Oh, very decent trade, actually. Like, completely even. I think both players are somewhat happy with that. But I think Viper's actually happier because Viper simply goes up to Castlage, trades the army. This is really good for him. This is exactly what he wants. Whereas Doubt, I think he probably wants to keep his army alive to go for a big push. On the bright side, though, since Viper lost his army, for Doubt, Viper can't scout the aggression that's coming in. And Doubt goes for some fletching, has a few scouts still in the field, and although Viper will click up to Castlage first, Doubt has a much bigger army on the field currently. Viper made one skirm and one archer from this range. It's a little bit of a strange play. And then it goes up to Castlage. So it feels like he just made this just in case. Now he's going for a few skirms. Maybe he wants to just defend the archers. And Doubt doesn't really have a place to break in, so has to hit the house. And at this point, like, everyone just thinks that Viper's in a great position. Everyone just thinks that this game is, like, basically over. It doesn't look like a great play. Or, sorry, a great game. Well, it's obviously a great play from Viper, but it doesn't look like anything spectacular. But Doubt brings out the spectacular here. Second stable. He knows he needs to do damage. Second stable continues to pump out the archers. And he is going to go basically all in feudal against a fully walled opponent who's up to Castlage. Insane to even come up with that. But it's literally the only thing that he could do. If he lets Viper go up to castle for free, Doubt loses for sure. By going for an all in feudal, he gives himself a chance to break in. Scouts are breaking in, archers are preventing the rewall, and Viper decides to just concede this area. It's too hard to rewall, concedes it, makes a second stable, and hopes to hold on with camels. But Doubt, he is like going in fast. 40 seconds to go till Viper's Castlage. In comes Doubt. 4 scouts, few archers. This is such a big moment for Doubt because if he doesn't get any damage, he loses on the spot. But if he gets a lot of damage done, Viper could then be the guy losing it on the spot. And keep in mind, Hindustani do not have knights to clear this up. Camels are good. They're not that good. Not against the archers anyways. And now Viper's army gets cleared up. And now Doubt is putting some pressure on the Vils. He's got forging. He's got fletching. That's what? 2-3 Vils dying right away. I think it's 2 Vils to begin. Maybe a third one. And now the camels are coming out, but they only have +1 armor. And Doubt is currently ignoring them, going for the Vils instead. And he's going to get even more kills. And all of a sudden, this went from a very standard game to, you know, Viper potentially being in a really weird spot. Goes for the quick wall, and that hits him through the wall like a beast, through his sword maybe there. And now, Viper's at 33 vills. Compared to 46, he lost all access to gold. He's now floating gold, no food. His economy is absolute shambles. And people are saying Doubt just made the impossible happen. I mean, it was a fully walled Viper going up the castle edge. Doubt breaks the walls, puts the pressure, but Doubt's still in feudal, so the game isn't over. Goes for the trusty market, his favorite thing in the world, I think. Actually makes a barracks and makes some spearmen as well. It's a really interesting play from Doubt there. Go for the spears. And now potentially a mistake from Doubt. Has some army out in the field. And we'll just get cleaned up by the camels. I don't think he's going to even get a single kill here. And Viper, he does what Viper does best. Adaptation and decision making. A lesser player in this situation would go all in on camels. Maybe send some villagers to go for forward siege. But Viper makes just the necessary amount of camels to survive. Picks off the rest of Doubt's army. And then goes for a mega boom. He knows he needs to make up the villages that he lost. And he's going to do that by adding in some town centers and developing his economy. And let me tell you, he's starting from the very bottom. He's got a lot of gold and very little anything else. So he's got to really fix his economy as fast as possible and get the town center set up to get his way back in the game. In the meantime, Doubt actually walls up his map and leaves only one mistake. Only one hole open. And Viper's into that hole. And Doubt tries the quick wall, but he wasn't able to. Doubt quick wall. Imagine he gets the quick wall for the first time in his life and keeps the camels out. But he failed it sadly. And the camels are in. And now this is such a headache for Doubt. It's not like a terrible situation because they're not knights. Camels aren't insane at raiding. But definitely not a good look. Camels are in. You have to chase them with spears. Feels very weird. And, you know, now we have Doubt just hoping to get the castle edge, hoping to hold on, and then continue the pressure. And behind this, Viper goes for markets, and he's going to start adding in more and more town centers, the market just to help balance the economy. All right, Camel's running into the bottom of the map as well, looking to maybe snipe some fish. So as you can see, they were basically like hyper annoying, and Viper, he's smart. He goes to the fish traps and not the fishing ships, which is actually more wood and they go down faster. So it's a really smart play. Goes for the fish traps. That is absolutely correct. And actually ends up killing a bunch of fishing ships. So those camels caused so many problems for Doubt right there. Like so many problems. Lost his fishing economy. Doubt goes for a second TC. And this is where it gets really tricky. Viper now goes for 4 TC boom. 4 TC boom. And he gets horse collar. He's going to go for a massive comeback here in terms of economy. Because now he doesn't have a lot of resources. But if he gets 4 town centers, starts pumping out villas, he's going to be in a pretty solid spot. Doubt now goes for his 3rd town center back home. He wants to boom while getting control of the map and potentially going for like pikemen knights as his main army. Pikemen to counter the camel. Knight is just a trusty unit. So I feel like Doubt's doing the right things and Viper is also doing the right things. Potential mistake here from Doubt. I think he waited too long with the knights at home. Those knights should have been right away across the map and attacking Viper. Why? Because Viper could be doing this greedy boom. And if he is doing this greedy boom, the counter to it is attacking the walls, breaking in and forcing Viper to make a camel. Viper needs to make 1 or 2 camels now to deal with those knights that could have already been across the map. He doesn't have the economy for it, right? He doesn't have the time to make the camels and vills. So right now he's prioritizing vills and he's buying so much time with just a few almost dead camels. Doubt goes for the counterattack now. Better late than never for sure, but small mistake to not do this right away. Doubt picks up horse collar back home. He loves that tech, by the way. Absolutely loves horse collar. And Viper's now getting bow saw. So Viper's trying to get back his economy. You know, back up the speed after the disaster in late feudal age there. Early castle age. And now goes for TC number 5. TC number 5. I mean, that is insane. So Viper, sorry, goes for bow saw. Viper goes for bow saw. Doubt goes for heavy plow. And now the 5th TC. And the TCs for Viper are really good here because they allow him to defend his villagers and also to create villagers as well. So it's like a boost to the economy and a defensive building all in one. Now we see a monastery come down. And take a look at this. Had Doubt been here 2 minutes earlier with his knights, or maybe 1 minute earlier, I don't think Viper has 3 camels on the field. And if he does, I think his town center has to idle a lot. And right now, even now, he has a lot of idle TC time because he just can't afford it and make camels at the same time. Now we see the forward siege. Doubt's economy on 3 TC only, but it's flowing much better. Goes for pikemen. I still think Doubt is in a better position even till now. He's got more resources collected by 2k5 even. And he's pushing with scorpions, knights, and pikes. How do you stop that army as Hindustani with just a few camels? You might need to go redemption monks. Maybe defensive siege, maybe a castle and Gulan. That's what Viper's going for. But it's still not clear here. Alright, defensive castle from Viper. Bit of a questionable position, to be honest. He makes it here to defend these 3 TCs. Here to secure the gold might be better. Hard to say. But, you know, I mean, it's questionable. It's not like it's bad. It's just like there's room for debate. And here, I think, not to point out all of Doubt's mistakes, but I think we have another Doubt mistake. He saw Viper on 5 TCs. This is what Doubt sees. He saw 3 TCs, or 4, and he can imagine a 5th one's here for the farms. So he saw the 5 TCs from Viper, and he's just taking his time with the push. Those knights should have been diving in and out of the farms, constantly raiding. If Viper wants to make camels, let him make camels. But don't just let him run with his camels and pick off our reinforcements now. Doubt, that would be terrible. So that was a huge mistake from Doubts, but it's not like Doubt's a bad player. He sees the camels out of position, and he goes in with the knights to find some damage. Obviously, he's hitting a market now as he's scrambling to deal with those camels. But he had the right idea, has the scorpions now in the right position. Knights looking for the right, areas to attack. And it's still a super competitive game. And those villas are coming forward for a castle now. Of course, we all know how Doubt loves his forward castles. And I spoke to him after the game. This was the moment he regretted the most. Not anything else. Not the camels going in with the hole. Not, some of the small micro mistakes you might have seen. This was the mistake. He said like he needed to not do this. And it's the castle this deep. He said if he made the castle just outside the base, right here or somewhere in a reasonable spot, he said that he would win. He would be fast up to Imp and it would be good enough. But of course, the classic Doubt. We know him to go for the aggressive castles. Of course, he bites off more than he can chew. And he goes into Viper's base. He opens his front door. He walks in, sits on his living room and plants a castle right there. I mean, if you think Viper's going to let you do that, you're absolutely wrong. He's a very welcoming guy. He's not going to let you make a castle in his living room, though. Viper goes for a counter castle, brings in some gulams, some camels, and all of a sudden, the chat's going crazy here. Doubt castle, no way! Classic Doubt, of course. Goes for the quick ball, fails it, of course. This is like typical Doubt games, where the game was like completely in his favor if he just made a safe castle. Not saying he would win, for sure, but definitely would be in favor. Like he's up to Imp, castle at home. But of course, we have to have a 78% completed castle that Viper's just going to take out. And Viper's nowhere near Imp, actually. His economy took a huge hit, not because he couldn't make builds, but just because he had a lot of builds that couldn't really work efficiently, since he had to fight so often. Whereas Doubt had a very perfectly running economy with Khmer farms, right? They look bad. They look like T90 is making the farms. But of course, we know, because they're Khmer, they're perfectly efficient. 4th town center for Doubt. He's still going. He's still trying. It's a bad situation now, but he has to do what he has to do what he can to try to win. It is a do or die situation at the end of the day. Now we see Doubts up to Imperial Age. Husbandry coming in. Even picks up the gold shaft mining. And now Viper goes for a castle on the right. And actually, I did talk to Doubt as well. He said that like he needed to play the map more. Instead of the castle forward, he could have just made a castle on the side. Control the gold. Hindustani are good, but without gold, they can't make camels. So he told me he could have easily done gold control instead of forward castle if he wanted to. He could have also made a safe castle. He said basically anything that's not this would have won him the game. And it's crazy to think like just a small decision like that in hindsight changes the fates of the entire tournament. Basically, Doubt could have been in the semifinals, but now Viper is cruising towards the semifinal because he's got gold control on the right with the castle. He has a very solid setup with 2 castles at his own base. And the only downside is that he's not up to Imperial Age. But he's at 140 Vils. And Doubt doesn't even have a forward castle. He's now rushing it down to try to get some trebs. Cavalier for Doubts. Viper's going to click up to Imperial Age. And then try to defend his base until he gets there, basically. Viper could have also potentially went for full castle age, like mass camels and stuff. But I think clicking up to Imperial Age is safer. You have so many Vils, so even if you take some damage, if you get the Imp and you have control of the gold, you basically win. Also, it's worth mentioning there's some fish trap happening for Viper, but not too much. Game is just too intense to be fish trapping at the same time. Fish traps take a lot of time and energy, and if you're constantly fighting, you don't have time to set the fish traps. It's impossible. Now Doubt realized he messed up. Runs his Cavalier straight into the castle. Oh boy, Viper's got gold control. Oh boy, Doubt's really panicking now. Decides to continue pushing because that's all he can do. He has the castle here, and yeah, I mean, he goes for the gold on the left, but now he doesn't have a castle there because he has it forward, and he's not gonna get raided. It just feels so awkward for Doubt, and he's gonna try to make something happen here on the front. But I mean, we've all seen Viper defend from these kind of positions, like more Vils, defensive position. He's gonna play the map, and at this point, there's not even a question in a lot of people's minds. It basically is game over. Viper is gonna secure himself a spot in the semis. But what a game it's been to this moment. I mean, at so many instances, Doubt could have just easily won the game. And until just like a couple minutes ago, he had more res collected. He had faster imp by 3-4 minutes. And just some small mistakes and decisions. Crucial decisions there with castle placement made an easy win for Doubt turn into a pretty easy win for Viper. Just because of one castle decision. At least that's what, you know, Doubt was saying to me after the game. He felt like if he made the castle elsewhere, he would have been, you know, cruising to an easy victory there. Imperial Age comes in for Viper now, and Doubt is currently desperate. Might want to tech into Halberdier. Try to make something happen. Viper, of course, going to grab Heavy Camel first. Shut down any calf play from the Khmer. And once calf play is out of the question, then you can start thinking about Ghulam. You can start thinking about Hen Kinderneer. Some of the other Hindustani options start coming to light here. Doubt still has somewhat of a you know, pressure on Viper. A couple trebs, but these trebs are actually downhill. And Viper's got masonry, so they're not doing too much damage. This treb gets sniped as well by the Ghulam. Viper's gonna go for some counterattacks with the camel. Doubt still doesn't have Halberdier because he just can't afford it. It's cost 600 gold. The raids on the gold as well is just absolutely killing Doubt. And he's just running out of options so fast here. Ballistics coming in for Viper. Wants to make sure he's got, you know, every tech he needs to go into a sick late game. And take a look at how he's just feasting on the gold. He even got the unique tech Grand Road Trunks or Grand Trunk Road, giving you extra 10% gold gatherer for all sources. So relics for Viper, he's got 3 of those, 10% faster. All the gold, 10% faster. And yeah, it would just, you know, it's just trending to an absolutely insane Hindustani late game. And Doubt might have to like trade or something if he wants gold as well, because he can't take that gold. But like trading in a 1v1 is kind of crazy though. It's kind of hard to set that up, because usually you're, you know, constantly fighting. You don't have time to set up the trade and let your teammates defend for a second. Imperial Camel comes in now. Doubt finally scrambles up Halberdier. So like it's looking like okay for his army. Like Halberdier is okay against the camels. And sorry, now Grand Trunk Road is coming. I think he canceled it before. But if it's just Halberdier, from what I've learned, it's not enough against camels, because the camels can always run around, and then Viper can, like we were talking about earlier, you can just get chemistry, get out hand cannoneer or skirms, and those Halberdier are going to be absolutely just useless. You're going to get wiped off the map here. Doubt's going for one last, you know, final effort here. He does have the center with stone, so it's like okay for Doubts, I guess, with like some like push, but yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have the units. Take a look at the camels. They're shredding the cavalry. They're not even Imp Camel. Once Imp Camel comes in, it's going to be a whole different ball game as well. Treb almost got sniped here. Imp Camel's in now. The Trebs will get sniped. Castle will go down. And Doubt's hopes and dreams for NEC5 are slowly getting, slowly getting thrown out the window at this point. No better way to put it here. Trebs are down. You just have some halves. And take a look at the ranges that Viper's going for. Of course, he's got so much gold. Hand cannon near production. It's going to be so easy for him now. And Viper takes the game. Doubt calls the GG. So insane. What a crazy game. Doubt was so close to winning it. Viper had the better matchup initially. Got into the better position initially. Doubt goes for some crazy comeback late feudal. Should have won the game if he played like a standard castle. Makes one crucial mistake with the Doubt castle, and Viper wins. The fans loved it. Viewers loved it. And of course, seeing Doubt go out always sucks, but seeing him going out with a Doubt castle, that lessens the blows. That lessens the blow, sorry. And I think the fans definitely like that one a lot. I personally love this game as well. I was watching because this is my semifinal opponent, and I don't even know who I was cheering for. I was like, Doubt Viper. I don't know who deserved it more. For me, it felt like Doubt's. I felt like it'd be more epic if Doubt wins, but in the end, Viper takes it home. Show you guys the stats. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys did enjoy, and make sure to come on down to Twitch and check us out here if you guys are interested in some live content. And in the end, it's not even close. Viper with 5k more gold, 11k more res. Obviously, Doubt detracted on a little bit here. GG, well played, fun game, and we have one more NEC review coming up for you guys. Take care and stay tuned. Bye for now.